Well. It's a beautiful day, and I have beautiful Anina, and we are here on Icons. And how are you guys doing? Hi Anina, how you doing?
Hey, Sarge, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I was just talking to her before we started recording, and she says it's cold down in South Africa, and I'm
Very cold.
I'm so ignorant. I didn't know it was her winter. It's your winter, huh?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Southern Hemisphere, so it's pretty chilly here right now.
Oh, really?
But we had such beautiful sunny days, and then of course I saw the chemtrails come over again, and then the next day everything is like cloudy. Looks like it's gonna rain, but it's not really raining. So I'm so annoyed with these things, but hopefully it will come to an end soon.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too. We have the initiative over here where Trump and I guess the alliance is really reverse geoengineering.
Hmm.
Got like almost 20 something states that's banned geoengineering the skies. That was
Yeah,
part of these people. I mean, I don't even think they're people, Anina, but they will. They're just diabolical. They were
yeah.
doing everything they could to keep us dumbed down and slaved up. Yeah.
It's their last hurrah.
Yeah.
So what can we say?
Yeah.
Just let them have their little fun, but it's now coming to an end. So
Right.
they
Right.
can have their fun while they can, but it's very short-lived and
Right.
it's all over soon.
And this great awakening is so beautiful. You know, I was just thinking, there's been times throughout our recent history that the majority of humans have gotten tired of being enslaved and they have revolted, and we're going through this now. I mean, remember the slave revolt with Spartacus? You had the Roman Revolution. You had the French Revolution is another one. You had the
Yeah,
Russian Revolution. Okay, hold on. Then there was the Russian Revolution, the Chinese Revolution,
hmm,
are all examples of how people get fed up with all the so-called leaders of of our society, of our world, and they just revolt against them.
mm,
And we have a reset. It's happened in reverse too, but this time here is very important for humanity and the species to survive the next stage because I don't think that we should ever go through this again. What do you think, Anina? I mean, this great awakening is happening whether we like it or not. What do you
yeah. I'm hoping this is it. We're graduating as a species now.
Right?
So no more redos, no more lessons, no more grades, no more,
Right.
sure, we're going to keep growing, but I just feel like this is it, man. We're graduating. And, humans tend to be quite lazy and complacent, to be quite honest.
Mhm.
That's why it takes so much for people to revolt and stand up and say, actually, no more. We always wait too long. And then it's like, oh, now we really like screwed here. So we better stand up. And we are at that point. Or maybe it's just like it is now. It needs to reach a certain tipping point
Mhm.
where enough people are standing up and saying, no, actually, we're not doing this anymore.
Right.
We are the people, we are in charge, we are the majority, and we deserve to live peacefully, abundantly, and without tyranny.
Right.
So,
Right. Right. And it's amazing. Most people can't see that. I don't know if they're soul washed, brainwashed. They're just like you said, they're so complacent with the way
mm,
things are. And a lot of even the people that we call awake are not seeing it for what it is. And
yeah,
you'll see that they'll start fighting and start infighting like a family, like families does.
yeah,
You have little disagreements with your family members. We are all a big family, the human species, and you'll have those that want the best for us, but then they won't see how it's happening, and they disagree, and then they start infighting, and I'm seeing that happening right now. It's really
Yeah, they
disturbing.
can't see the bigger picture, you know?
It's really discouraging. Most people want to be right. It's not about right and wrong here at this point. It's about
Yeah.
something is happening that a lot of people really can't get. And I think people like, I'm not trying to separate, but a lot of people like you and I or whatever see it for the big picture, and then we have to adjust our thinking. And then we're hoping that the ones around us that is in this great awakening would do and adapt the same way, but they're not. They're still going back to the old ways, the cognitive dissonance and the training that they have been done all their lives to think in a certain way. They cannot think outside of the box that these idiots have put them in.
The thing is, they've been told that there will be dis and misinformation, that,
Hmm.
it's all part of the plan. Don't see things at its face value and think that is all that is going on. And now suddenly, I don't know, Trump has betrayed us or whatever. You know that there's mis and disinformation. They've been following this Letter 17 movement for years. Yet now that we're at this precipice moment of things about to shift, they cannot recognize the 5D chess. They cannot recognize the bigger picture. And they just think it must just be fixed now. And why is it not fixed? And why is Trump doing this and that? Instead of just expanding their minds a little bit
Right.
and thinking, is there a possibility that there's some moves going on here that they're not privy to, some
Right.
chess moves?
Right. And I was just having a conversation with a bunch of my friends last night, and we were just talking about the same thing. You can see I call myself a pattern recognition specialist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah,
Okay. I do not jump the gun. I see things as it is. I relax and I take a deep breath and I say, this is war. What would this do? And how would this be accomplished? And what is the goal? So
yeah,
you can see that since Trump came down that escalator, it's been 10 years now. You can see that he had the whole plan has been to have something chaotic happen, and then Trump says something about it or whatever, the alliance says something about it, and then it gets really chaotic because people really don't know what's going on. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, there's a solution. And it's happened over and over and over again. I mean, it's not like it just happened one time. It's happened um, dozens of times.
mm,
I can't even name it. Just recently with the little sprat with Elon, you see like, oh, Elon and Trump is going in. The next thing before you know it, a week later, they're freaking like, oh, we shouldn't have did that, and that's what I was out there showing people.
all part of the strategy.
All part of the strategy because you have these diabolical beings, okay, that are here that we must take out. And that's the goal. The goal is to win this war. And it's
Yeah,
unconventional. This is on a quantum level. This is like 5, 6, 7, 8D chess. And we
yeah,
just gotta relax, okay? Give positive energy. Do not give in to the negative energy because we are powerful souls, right, Anina? And we
yeah,
create reality collectively and individually. So that's why I don't like a lot of these podcasters out there that's spreading the same fear that the old school used to spread, and it's spreading them on our community. And it's
yeah,
really stupid to do that because we are powerful souls. And if you do fear, that's a sign of consent, and is also is a sign that you're going to start creating that fear and migrating to that fear that they're doing. Do
yeah.
you agree with that?
Yeah. And you know what I think is also going on here? You know, uh, we've been hit with solar flares, geomagnetic storms, X flares. I mean, there's just another X flare that came through yesterday, CMEs. I mean, the amount of solar activity that's going on is crazy. Now,
Hmm.
when this happens, it's almost like people get a little bit crazy. Or not just anyone, but I specifically think the people that have not done the inner work, the people that have not fueled their own awake, like spiritual awakening in the process as well. They're just following the intel, so they haven't done the work. So this it upsets the body biology, all the stuff that's going on, and you can literally feel like you're losing your mind. And I literally think some of these truthers who have not done any spiritual work, they've just been following the intel. They've only been, they haven't done the other side of it, which is awakening from within. They are the ones that are losing their minds at the moment because things are now not going according to plan for them, and they can't see through the fog. They can't see through the fog of war and understand that there's something more complex at play here. You've just got to keep your head and hold the line because everything is not as it seems.
That's right.
But because they just feel like their mind is going to explode because these ascension symptoms are very real, and when you have not done the work, you're going to get all sort of creepy crawlies come to the surface, all your traumas, all your undealt issues, all of the stuff that you haven't dealt with is going to come to the surface, and it's going to make you feel like you've lost your mind. And I've seen that in people just behave weirdly, strangely, and I think there's a little bit of that at play here as well. So the
A little
people that have been at the front of this truth movement, the ones that have not done the work themselves and just sat back on the couch with their popcorn, they are seeing the
bit.
crazy stuff around them now. They're not recognizing what's really going on here. They haven't also activated their intuition. It's one thing, yes, we are pattern recognition specialists, but we also use intuition as part of that process. We have a knowing, right? We know when something is right, when there's something a little bit more complex behind the veil. We just know that. And they don't have that. So all they see is what's in front of them. That and the fact that there's a lot of infiltrators, of course, in this movement as well
Yeah.
that have been sent here, and they are podcasters, they are truthers with many hundreds of thousands of followers, and they've been sent here to disrupt the movement. So that's the other aspect of it.
Hmm.
These guys are like activated now. Okay, there's a little bit of crack in the surface. Let's go for it. Let's lead people down the wrong path and make them get upset with the movement, and in the process also lower their frequency in a way, because now they're all like they've lost hope, they're depressed, they upset, they angry, and these are not the right it's not the right headspace to be in. What do you think about that?
That is all. You hit it right on the nail. I mean, people are are not paying attention to that inner work that they haven't been. I don't know if they've been doing it. I don't like to judge other people, but in times of war, even with the 17th letter, the Q, okay, a lot of those messages were not meant for we the people. It was meant to dissuade the enemy. And my part in this war was to try to disciple and bring back the condition of sovereignty back into the forefront because we have forgotten about that. We have forgotten that we're sovereign beings of source and that we have the ability to um, take control of our lives, have autonomy over our lives and our conditions. And my main mission was to awaken that again. I don't see um, how people can really not have you know, uh, a rendition of what this war is doing, but cannot have anything of what they're doing in this war. It's really amazing to me. They're not taking
Responsibility.
self-responsibility to take charge of whatever is coming at them, and they are really depending on things outside of themselves to basically control what they do. And
Yeah.
that's not the way it should happen. We should always have an inner knowing, okay? Even if you're a little bit just dissuade and you see something happen, it's always good to go within and say, hold up, take a deep breath. Let me see how is this happening because war is static. It's not, I mean, it's not, it is not something that's like a play. You know, I think the worst thing that happened is when people started repeating that phrase that this is just a movie. Yes, it's a movie in a sense, but it's like a 5D, 6D, 7D movie where things are being played out behind the scenes that we're not privy to see. But it's not a movie. Real people are actually dying. There's things that's actually happening, okay? And it's not going to be like that movie where, okay, the bad guy does this, the good guy does this, and then here we come, and we're riding in there with the on the white horse, and at the end of the movie, we win. I mean, the white horses could take over the bad horse, black horse, or whatever. Okay, it's not going to be that simple, because the evil that has been on this planet has it's not that they're not smart. They are very smart, but we have to outsmart them. We have to use their tactics against them. Okay? What they've been doing against us, we're doing against them now. That's the way I'm looking at this war. A lot of people saying we got to follow laws and orders and blah, blah. No, that's not war. War is to win by any means necessary. And a lot of people can't see that. Oh, we got to do the good way. How is a good way? I want to ask you something, Nina. If you and I were going to war and you had the privilege of not following any laws, and I was sitting over here and like, I got to follow these laws and do it the right way, or else, people gonna see me as not doing it the right way, and they're gonna get mad at me. What kind of advantage would that give you? You're not following
Yeah.
any laws in order. You're not following anything. And I am
Well,
on
as a
handcuffed.
Marine veteran, you should know that more than anyone, right?
Right, right. And that's what I'm talking about. People are out there saying that we got to follow the Constitution, we got to follow the laws and orders. To some extent, they're
You
true.
know what it is?
You know,
Behind the scenes, they're not following any laws and orders. But in front, with certain things that they are executing in the public sphere,
hmm
they want to appear to be following laws and
Right.
orders because then the enemy cannot use that against them. So anything that's in the public view has to be legit. But behind the scenes, you know,
All gloves are off. And that's what I'm trying to explain to people. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
The object, the objectivity of this war is to win by any
yeah,
means necessary. And
yeah,
just like I said in the beginning, there has been times, throughout human history that this has happened. And this should be the last time it happened. I don't know if it will be. I can't predict the future or anything, but this is supposed to be the war to end all wars.
yeah,
And we're not going to do it. Look at how it's happening over there in the Middle East right now. People, if you look at it from a dynamic of, oh, Israel is attacking Iran and Iran is attacking Israel and they're trying to bring America in there to start World War III. World War III is not going to happen the way World War III has already started. Okay, we are in the midst of World War III, and people really don't even see it yet. This is what amazes me that we've been in this war ever since at least 8 9 years. It's probably longer than that, but people can't see it, and this is how intricate this war is, and how amazing. Because when I look at all the things that's happening, I'm saying, how the hell did they pull that off? You know, you had the war in Ukraine, supposedly, quote unquote. You got this war that's going on here. The first war was where Israel let the breach happen in Gaza, and Hamas came in and they went through the golden, I mean the dome.
and, yeah,
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it was a breach when nothing's supposed to happen like that. And then you have the minions that's been running underground and all this place everywhere. They are using the alliance is using that as a proxy to attack one another and take out the bad guys. Israel
Yeah.
attacking Iran. Iran is got a bunch of idiots, and I don't think they're even human. That's running their country, and then you got the idiots in Israel that we know that's probably not human, and they're taking them out, and then they're using the proxy war of Israel versus Iran to eliminate both factions. I know
Yeah.
people who like say, "What are you talking about, Sarge?" I said, "You got to get on a level like they are. This
Yeah.
is this is 5D chess, quantum
Yeah.
chess. Okay?
But I also think when they speak about certain things, yes, certain things have already been done years ago. So there is that part of the movie that play out, and then there's the part of
Mhm.
it that's still dynamic, and that normally happens in the lower level, so not in the high level of country leadership. I believe those deals have already been done years ago.
Right.
Now that Trump has said, "Oh, now there's a golden dome over Iran airspace and everything has been secured." You think that happened overnight? Number one, it's just like you said the other day. This golden dome isn't going to be built. It's already up, and
Yep.
it's already
Yep.
there across the entire world, and it's linked with Starlink and
Right.
Space Force and all these things. So that those things have already been done. The deals for the top leadership has been done. Some of that is playing out now, obviously, for the public, but there's still rogue elements within. There's still unknowns in this war. But a lot of it has been secured, so to speak. You know,
We
that's
don't
what I believe.
we don't live on this planet alone. And I can't wait till that come out. This planet is way bigger than what we thought. Okay.
Yeah.
We got no-go zones all around us. But there's people out there says, no, we're gonna believe the NASA and whatever we've been taught that the world is this big and there's only 7 continents. That's a lie. Okay.
Yeah.
And when I tell people that we don't have any nukes anymore, I'm getting this from some very not some inner
Exactly.
yeah, inner
That
knowing,
won't be allowed.
huh? It won't be allowed.
Yeah.
There's all kind of evidence that they call UFOs have come over nuclear facilities and shut them down and disabled their nukes. Okay, there's been dozens and dozens
Yeah.
of instances like that. Okay, so who's doing this? Russia thought it was America. America thought it was Russia. And nobody knew who was doing it. So I'll tell you who it was. It was those that are living here amongst us on the other side of the no-go zones, beyond the ice wall, as they want to say, okay, that have interest of not letting us blow up the freaking planet with them on it too. Okay, so
Yeah.
um,
Because it's not just about our little piece that we live on.
yeah, yeah,
We
right.
blow things up, it's going to affect the lands beyond, plus the
Yes.
space around, the
Yep.
Earth as well.
Yep.
And that can't be allowed. That's where you can actually interfere, even though there's a law, the law of non-interference,
Hmm.
uh, universal law. In this instance, where it's going to damage other um, planets, if you will, and the lands beyond, and in that case, interference will happen and they will stop it. And there hasn't been any danger of nukes for years, I would say, many, many years.
Now, EMPs and everything else, that's something different, you know.
Yeah,
But I don't think if the bad guys really had the capability to do that, they would have been used it. Now, the Alliance could actually pretend that it's the bad guys to get this next stage. It's really amazing how I'm trying to figure out how they're gonna get to the next stage of this war. Where there's a EBS or where there's a scary event or something like. I think we're living through that now because a lot of people are up there like, oh my God, it's gonna be World War III. It's gonna be a nuclear war. It's oh my God, oh Trump is doing this and oh Israel and Iran, they're building. We're getting there. It's a lot. It's enough panic right now that they could do it today. and move to the next stage. But it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm and I'm ready for it. I don't know about you, Anina. I'm ready for the next, you know.
I've been ready for 5 years.
You know, it's kind of funny that me and you are both saying, "Hey, I'm ready for that EBS. I'm ready for the scary event." You know, that's
Bring
why
it on.
that's why we were waking up um a bit earlier than the ones that are sleeping. You know, so that when it does happen, we'll be here to like, okay, this is what's going on. Calm down. Don't lose your shit. Okay. We've been telling you this for like what, the last 5 to 10 years. Okay. Now we're going through it. We told you this. Just like we told you about the jab, and just like we told you about all this other. Listen to us. Everything's gonna be okay. That's why we're here, and we got to live through this maybe once or twice, you know, because we were out there digging way before anything happened like this, and we were like, "Hey, we're watching the cue boards. We're watching the signs. We're seeing things happening. You guys, you know, things are gonna happen. We're gonna have a great reset, but it's gonna be us and doing it this time. It ain't gonna be at the mercy of the bad guys, and it's happening, and it's really amazing.
Yeah.
It's
But I
really,
think that the final tipping point is going to be when the financial system is flipped.
hmm
That's going to be a big one because then you're bankrupting all of the cash that are still stashed away and left over for the cabal that they stashed into corners that they're still using. You're cutting all of that off. So that's going to be the moment when, okay, it's game over.
Yeah, I agree with you to a point, because I don't think that the bad, you know, that was a system of control, money. It's not about money. I mean, I mean, the Alliance have enough what we call money to do anything. So does the bad guys. They were the one who was in charge of printing it. So it'll
Yeah,
be stupid to think that we say, "Oh, it's got to wait because it's got this amount." That's not the issue here. The issue is the control mechanisms that the systems that they use
yeah,
to control us. You're correct. With that system has got to go.
yeah.
So
Central banks, SWIFT, all
yeah,
of those
they
systems.
got to go. They got to go. But
I'm also wondering with Bitcoin, in the early days we heard that, oh, they're gonna crash Bitcoin, and now it looks like they may not do that, especially since Trump has built a sovereign wealth fund and invested, bought a lot of Bitcoin for. But still, if you think of all the dark ops, the black ops that are being funded through, they're gonna have to take control of that thing somehow.
well,
Bitcoin, I mean.
we got quantum capability now. Okay, that's a fact. We have quantum computers, and when you go to that level of quantum, where even Bitcoin and in the encryption in the cryptology segment is just like kindergarten compared to quantum. You know, the quantum-based system will be where we take control over, and I think they're implementing that. They probably already have. It's not going to be Bitcoin, and it's going to be a Q coin. I don't know what it's going to be called, but I know that they got quantum capability where it's unhackable. You know what I'm saying? Everybody then could have their own like little mini bank within, like, Anina, if I want to do business with you, I'll be able to do on a
Yeah, we do it direct. We don't need a bank.
you don't need a bank, cut out the middleman, and everything.
Decentralized.
Yep, and everything will be backed by us. You know, it doesn't matter. A lot of people say it's going to be backed by gold, silver. No, the main thing is that who is making gold and silver important? We are. We are the currency. You know, it's we, the people of the planet, that determines what is we're going to use it for exchange. Okay?
Yeah,
If we say it's going to be gold, if we say it's going to be silver, if we say it's going to be dirt, okay, that's what it would be. So
yeah,
we are the ones. We're the currency. A lot of people don't realize that that's what they've been using against. Oh, this gold and come on, gold is nice to look at. It's nice to use. It's got some conductivity that we could use and take advantage. But it's not the be all. currency that we could use is quantum, where we could get to the next level where we're using actually the essence of source to basically go forward. And I think once we get to that point, it will open up the door where we're gonna have, and once quantum comes along, it's gonna be like, okay, the next stage is moneyless. We ain't gonna need money in
Yeah.
about 5 to 10 years, if that.
Maybe a little bit longer than that. I would say 10 to maybe 20 years. It's going to take a little while to phase out. We need to get responsible with, we need to change our mindset as a civilization, not to hoard money because there'll be enough for everyone at that point. At that point, there'll be replicators, there will be so much abundance on this planet that we won't need money at that point. But I think it will take a little while and people's consciousness will have to catch up. If you think about how many people are stuck in that 3D concept of have and have nots, how much it's going to take for them to shift their mindset. It may take a little while. But if you think about gold, it's now, I've heard that it's also a, what do you call it, a limitless resource that the earth can produce more. It's not a limited resource.
No.
I don't think many people know about that, but if it is something that can just be
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
perpetually
we we,
produced by the earth.
we found out that gold is produced. It's like one of the most abundant elements on the planet. You know, even in the Grand Canyon over here in America, they say if they released that amount of gold within the world, it will bring gold down to like maybe worth a penny. That's how much gold is in that place and around the world. The Philippines has got big freaking gold reserves. Australia, South Africa, okay,
Yeah.
you're at, they got gold deposits that's huge all around the world. That's what I'm trying to segue, which I'm trying to get over because once that happens, what are we going to use as a medium of exchange between? That's all that money is supposed to be a medium exchange of goods and ideas and whatever. So we're gonna go past that gold and silver, and we're gonna use it for what it's supposed to be used for the benefit of humanity. Okay, not hoarding it, not hey, you got all this money and now you're up here and now I'm down here because I have little money. No, we gotta rise, lift all boats. Okay, and I agree with you. It might take a little bit of time, but I don't think it's going to take 20 years. I mean, we are very adaptable creatures. We are species that will adapt. Once something happens, it has to happen. Hey, look, you either going to get with this or not. Okay? We're not going to be doing that. What choice will you have? All right, we're going to the quantum, and that's it. We're going that way. How long would that take? I mean, people will either adapt or they will be left behind.
Mm,
Right? And you could do that today, and within a year, the whole world would be like, hey, I can't believe we used to live that way a year ago.
yeah.
You know, I think I give more credit to the human species than a lot of people do. I think we can transform and transcend quicker than 20 years. Why is it going to take 20 years, Anina? I mean, come on. I mean, either.
You know what I think will happen? If we
Yeah.
don't do it in a systematic way, industries will collapse.
Yeah. And
People wouldn't want to work. And, so they have to like grow up and realize that,
oh,
okay, now we're not working for money. We're actually just working to build new systems that are
right.
going to replace these old control systems on the planet. And there's so many different industries and avenues and, things that
Okay,
need
yeah,
to be replaced.
I see what you meant now. If you give too much to people too quickly, just like you just said, people will, oh man, why do I have to go to work now? Yeah.
They're going to buy like 10 Ferraris and not go to work. And, the
Mhm.
roads will collapse. And
Well, actually, if let's say if I offer you, let's say you got a job, okay? And let me offer you triple or double what you're getting paid, or you won't get
yeah, that will
anything.
also
You,
happen,
you know what
you
I'm
know.
trying to say? Or you won't get paid, or you won't get money. We have to go through that little period. You're right. Then maybe that'll take like 4 to 5 years.
You know the thing I worry about most?
Uh-huh.
I'm going to be a little bit tongue in cheek here. I always wonder, I love good food and to eat like in nice restaurants and just, the experience and traveling and going to amazing places.
Mhm.
Like, what's going to happen? Nobody's going to want to work in the hotels. Nobody's going to want to make the beds. Nobody's going to want to cook the food or serve it. What's going to happen to that whole industry? Um,
Yeah, that's true.
so the robots will have to come quickly and see how they can replace all the human labor.
Right. I think the enticement of, let's say, you won't get anything unless you do your job. I mean, let's say
Yeah,
everybody has a job and let's say, okay, you're getting paid $100,000 a year. We're gonna double that, you know,
yeah,
still have to come in. You're gonna work less. Okay. It's not gonna be like you gotta work 5 day weeks. You might cut it down to 2 or 3, you know.
yeah,
People will fall for that. Look, this is gonna be the new system. You're gonna get paid this amount of money, more than what you were getting paid before, and this is where we're going. All right. And either you do it or you won't get paid. Okay.
also, I think there might be like a lot of people speak about the UBI, the Universal Basic Income. That may be how they redistribute the wealth in the beginning, just so people can get used to the idea of having all
Right.
this money.
Right.
So we don't totally collapse industries and go crazy and
Yeah,
just lie on the couch.
they'll be doing it in increments leading up
Yeah,
where sooner or later we're gonna be like, okay, what happened to all? We won't even need this money. Why are we using money? You know what I'm saying? You know, we
yeah,
came from bartering until the money. We going back to where we started at. You know, in the beginning, humans didn't use money. They were bartering. Hey, you got
yeah.
this, blah, blah,
We're
blah.
gonna go back to that, I reckon.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, you go watch the Star Trek series. If anybody's out there, I love Star Trek because that was one of the things they never they had a society, a very advanced society. They didn't use any money.
Yeah,
Use
but
any.
they had replicators, but
They
we'll
had
get that.
indicators, yes, they had that, but in the beginning they didn't. And then they started moving forward. They had uh what they call resource-based economy, where everything was resources were all used for the betterment of humanity. That was the type of system that they had. And I
Yeah.
think that's going to be a transition. It's going to be kind of, but it's kind of amazing that me and you are talking about this now because we're almost to that point where the next stage is going to be like that. And we basically will be able to communicate with one another around the world this idea that we're all actually working for each other.
Yeah,
And
there is enough to go around for everyone. There's no more lack or scarcity.
that's
There's
right.
no more need for unhealthy
Right.
competition. There's no more need to hoard things or, people will the way they treat others will change because we're not in survival mode anymore, you know?
I like that.
Um,
I like that. We're not in survival mode. Yes. What a
yeah,
percentage.
humanity has been forced into the lower chakras. I'm not talking about us because we've been there and worked our way through it, but the majority of the population, they're in their lower chakras. It's survival. They
Uh-huh.
addicted to materialism, to material, things.
This is fast.
Um, they've been conned into thinking that's actually worth something or it will make them happy, which it never does. So once that kind of addiction wears off,
Yeah.
hopefully we can reemerge as and a lot of us, as I said, we're already there. I mean, I don't believe I don't need anything to be happy. It's nice to have a nice meal. It's nice to travel, but I don't need it to be happy and content.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how humanity will evolve through this stage of fight or flight.
Yes. And it's going to be amazing to see how what we do to help that because I think that we are going to be involved in this next stage and we have to be. You know, I like that what you said about the survival mode. I think like at least 80 to 90% of humanity is in survival mode. And
Yeah,
once that is taken away, they're gonna say, "Holy shit!" You know. Then we can start working on the inner abilities of what we have. Then we can start paying attention to our relationships with one another instead of being worried about, hey,
unlock dormant DNA,
yeah, right.
unlock latent gifts.
Yep. and we won't have to worry about putting food on the table, a roof over your head, and all that other stuff that they got us enslaved with, So that's going to be amazing to watch. That's going to be amazing
Hmm.
to watch. I,
Yeah.
I love talking like this to people. I really do. It excites me because I see that it's right around the corner. I see it, and
It's because we've already been there.
yeah, that's
We came from the future to rescue this planet.
I know. I feel it. Yep. Yep. And they didn't pick rookies to come here.
Yeah.
You volunteered. You couldn't have been a rookie. You had to go through this before. A lot of souls are now waking up to realize that hey, I've been through something like this before, and this is what we did, and this is what we're gonna do, and we are all banding together, and we got the energy and the spirit to basically just overwhelm this darkness that's out there, and it's really
Yeah.
amazing. Like look like me and you. You on another side of the world. I'm on this side. I didn't know you like even six
Yeah.
months, and now we're vibing together, and that's what's happening all over the world. And it's amazing to watch. I love it.
Yeah. All the ancient souls that was part of this rescue mission are connecting and, meeting one another
Yeah.
across the globe.
You were saying something the other day was about people that is the infighting. I know you, and I know that pisses you off. Just like it pisses me off. You know,
Mm.
you guys stop it. I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah. Don't sweat the
got a
small stuff.
yeah,
I mean,
we got a common enemy, and you're making your fellow man an enemy. Just like you said, I think a lot of them are placed there on purpose. They got
yeah.
all these followers, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, Trump is Mossad, Trump is
Yeah.
Zionist, Trump is part of the.
Exactly.
Oh my, I think they're all plants, but a lot of them are not. A lot of people are just, hey, I know more than you. I got connections with the galactic family. We all do. Okay? Yeah. It's not just you. Okay? So stop
Yeah.
it. Stop it singling you. It's our whole thing is to come together as one species and move forward. Okay? As sovereign entities that are basically going forward together. We're not going
Yeah.
to be enslaved anymore. So, what is your point? Why are you out there fighting amongst each other?
Yeah.
Even if
And
you
you know
think,
what won't be around in this new world?
hmm
Hierarchy. There
yeah,
won't be
yes,
hierarchy.
yes.
There
That's
won't be middlemen. We don't need middlemen to connect with,
yeah.
you know,
The ability
land
not to
security.
lie. What would happen? What would be the first industry to go if they didn't have the ability to lie? Because I think that's going to be our future too. You'll be able to detect a lie very quick.
Yeah.
I can name a few professions like politicians,
Social media.
politicians, politics. The legal profession.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's going to go away. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, once we mature and once we get over this bridge here, it's going to be very simple to look at and see where we're going. And I'm
Yeah.
just so happy to talk to someone like you to basically,
Yeah. I think
yeah,
people just need to, you know, keep their wits about them right now. Don't jump to conclusions. If you think, oh, this is bad, this looks bad, Trump looks like he might be Mossad after all, just chill, sit back, wait 72 hours before you do or say anything,
I like that. I
and
like
the
that.
truth will come to you.
The Anina rule: wait 72 hours.
Yeah,
All right. So it's been lovely, sweetheart. When are we gonna talk again? When are we gonna talk again? This has been such a great conversation. I just love talking to you.
hopefully regular chats
Yes,
this time.
yes, we will. We will. So if anything else you want to say to the people, because I wanted to keep this short because of the attention span of our of people are getting less and less. Have you seen?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I've been doing like 30 minutes because people are like, I love it. I love the 30 minutes. I love the shorts. Okay. And I get straight to the point and then I get out. you know.
Yeah.
But a lot of people,
Yeah, I think, people are so they would rather hear from you every day than let's say once a week and do a long podcast. And I was not on YouTube for a week because I had a strike. And people are like, oh, where were you? Oh.
you had a strike. Would you?
Yeah, the one that we did together, the last one we did together,
Oh, for
got
real?
taken down.
Over, I forgot what happened. What did they strike you on?
I've got to be
Medical.
careful, but it's basically
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
got
Yeah.
to do with
Putting this up
healing and things that are so natural to us, apparently is
on.
misinformation. That's all I can say. So we live in interesting times.
You have a Rumble channel too? You got to send.
Yeah, I do. So I keep telling people, go there. If
Right.
you can't find me on YouTube, just know that that's the backup. I'll always be on Rumble. But
Yeah.
people are lazy, and I think a lot of people enjoy YouTube because you can download videos and it's got more functionality than Rumble. But Rumble is the free speech platform, right? So
There you go. Yep, that's what happens with me. That when I got kicked off, when they had the Great Purge, okay, I was part of that, and I
yeah,
got
me
so
too.
pissed off. I got so pissed off because I didn't even get a strike. They didn't even give me a strike. I never had a strike.
Yeah, the second channel I lost also was just like boom, it's gone. I
Gone.
didn't even know what I did.
Yep. They just like, nope, you gone. Can't have you. You talking about self-sovereignty, peace, love, and prosperity. Nope, you done.
That's
You know, I was
radical misinformation. My goodness.
yeah, it is radical. You cannot do that, you know. So, yeah.
We're going to one day look back at this time and think, wow, what a crazy world. Everything was inverted and most people were just lapping it up. So, we're going through a big shift as a planet right now. So I just want to say to people, hold the line and hold the line because we have got to keep this frequency steady now. We are the anchors of this new earth that we're trying to birth.
Hmm.
But we've got to be the ones that are constant, consistent, calm, and level headed.
Yes, ma'am. I love that. Okay. So until we meet again, um,
Yes, we'll do it again soon.
we'll do it again soon. Hopefully next week. Okay. If not, we ought to arrange it. And I just love having this conversation. We just have conversations here. We're not interviewing one another. This is what I love. Just
Yeah,
spontaneous,
unscripted,
unscripted.
organic flow.
Leave a
And
comment.
by the way, people are commenting on YouTube. Oh, Sarge, it's so good to see Sarge again. So
Oh,
they like to see you when I upload you to the
oh,
YouTube
okay.
channel.
Okay. They remember me. I mean, that was such a
Yeah.
long time ago. I forgot about YouTube. It's been almost 6 years now. Yeah. But I had a loyal um audience there, you know, because I talked about the right things. I was talking about their sovereignty and what's going on, and then we started talking about the other world and off world, in world, outer world. You were doing all that stuff there, and I loved it, you know. And
All of the things that really matter.
yeah, everything that matters that we thought was important, that is important for us. And so, but here I am, and Anina, thank you for putting this on YouTube because I don't do YouTube anymore. So,
Yeah, so people can get you know,
mhm.
their weekly Sarge update as well
Okay,
on YouTube.
okay, all right. So
Awesome.
enjoy your cold day. Anina, I
Thank
was like,
you.
Anina, you down in South Africa and you got on a coat? She was like, it's winter here.
It's not only hot here. Cape Town can be very chilly. When I say it's chilly, it's not that chilly
Yeah,
to some standards, but it's chilly enough.
yeah, okay. I'm just ignorant of my geography. That's what I am. All right. So,
Yeah,
peace, love, truth, prosperity, and self-sovereignty to everybody else out there. Okay.
love it.
Take care, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.